Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to use your calculator efficiently during a GCSE iteration question. So, first thing we're going to do is this number here, we're going to enter into our calculator, okay? So, I'm going to put in my calculator, I'm going to push 4, and if you're using this new Casio type of calculator, it's an EXE. If you're using the old style, it's just the equal button afterwards. So if ever I say EXE or execute, you can use the equal buttons instead. So the first thing, you enter the first number. Now, when I type in this formula, I'm not going to type in, what I did in my previous video is I would have typed in 5 times 4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 3. Which, to be honest, when you've seen me do it the first time, you think, oh, I could just type that in. However, when I find x3 and x4 and any further ones, what I'm going to do is going to be a lot quicker. I've entered in my calculator, so what I'm going to type in is this formula here, but instead of seeing the x, I'm going to push the answer button. Like that. So I'm now going to type this into the calculator, making sure, first thing I've done, I have entered the starting value. Okay, so I'm now going to press, I was about to make a mistake. I missed off my little cube sign. Let's put that back in. So the cube root. So for us, let's get this going. So we have the cube root of 5 answer squared minus 2 times the answer minus 3. Notice this looks just like the equation, except I've used the answer button instead of the x. So to get x2, we have x1. All I need to do is press the equal sign. Because I entered the 4 is going to go in each position. And there we go. We have 4.1. Let's get my point nice and clear. 6. Now, what you would have had to do without this method, if I wanted to find the next one, I've actually got to type that number in. Everywhere there is an x. However, I've set my calculator up using the answer button. So to get the next one, I'm just going to press EXE at the bottom or equals. And there I go. There's the next answer. Now, it's not asked for this. At this point, I've got 4 marks in the question. It's 1 mark for each one. But if the question did ask for another one, I don't have to do any extra working. I just, again, have to press the EXE button. And there is the next term. In fact, I can now keep pressing it. And eventually, the numbers slowly stop moving until they move no more. Because these iteration questions converge on an answer. It pushes down into it. What answer that is, I'm going to explain that on the next question. So that is how you set up your calculator. So let's have a look at another past paper question. So there was a mistype on this one. That little +1 should have been underneath. This is me not being as professional as I should be. I should have corrected that before I started the video. However, I'm just going to carry on. All right, now I'm going to talk about, first of all, what this bit is at the end of the video. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to answer the question. So first of all, it says use the iteration formula. Now, it doesn't tell me how many times I need to do it. So the first thing I do, I'm going to enter the starting value. I've got my calculator again. I'm going to push 1, EXE, or 1 equals, depending on your calculator. That is now entered in. I now will type in this formula. So it's 1 over, instead of x, I will be writing answer squared plus 2. So we have u1 here, u2, I just have to push equals, and I can see that that is the number 3. I press equals again, and we can see that this number is 2.11. Now we've got to keep going and give our answer to one decimal place. It doesn't tell us where to stop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, like I did last time, I'm going to spam this EXE button. I've done the first couple. I've shown the examiner I know what I'm doing. I'm going to press this button until it stops changing. So I'm going to keep pressing this, and now it's stopped changing. In fact, it doesn't matter how many times I press it, it will stay the same. I can now see my answer to 1 decimal place. Write it a bit higher up so we can see, is x equals 2.2. That will be my final answer. Now, as I said, when you push equals, it finally stops. What are you actually solving? You are actually solving this equation. What they have done, and you're not going to necessarily be asked to do this in an exam, they've rearranged this. What they've done is they've taken this equation and moved these two terms across. And then what they're actually going to do here, and this is what makes it a bit tricky to spot, they've divided both sides by x squared. So I'll divide that one by x squared, and I'll divide this one by x squared, and this one. Everything's been divided by x squared. The x squareds then cancel, leaving us with this. So this gets created into an iteration formula. So actually, iteration can be used to solve equations when they can't normally be solved. So hopefully you've been able to understand from here how to use your iteration formula and how to use the calculator effectively to do so. Thank you very much for listening.